So, as a full moon usually would, prompt us to think about themes of release, getting rid of heavy burdens, getting rid of the load, getting rid of karmic toxic patterns, getting rid of generational beliefs, like harmful generational beliefs and energy that is projected towards us, and we're here to break, like overanalysis, mind chatter. This is a time to really reclaim the sovereign, solid, stable, grounded soul and self, because why would we keep questioning something when we have seen miracles on our path? Why would we question? I mean, do we ever know the answers to anything, really, in this beautiful, wonderful game where lessons just arrive at our door, completely out the blue, 111 on the clock, and shake the shit out of us and just get us to level up? There's no script here, you know. A lot of the intellectualization of awakening stops us rooting in the intuitive knowing of where we're being led. Generational trauma is no longer ours to carry. What has come before now does not influence where we are going. These are huge, monumental, paradigm shifting times, transformative times. And yes, the wisdom of the ancestors and the ancestral knowledge and the plant allies and old ways of doing things and knowing and being are being revived. Some people call it also gentrification of various practices within the death space, within the birth space, doulas and various things, you know. But some people just want to go back to roots. We've got so much judgment around 222 on the clock, so much judgment around, oh, these people shouldn't be doing this and this people. All right, not everybody has access to everything. However, these practices can be taken part in by everybody if we want to go down that route ourselves. All of this comparison and over-analysis and which I'm guilty of myself, you know, in these times, questions come to me from all different places of versions of me in time, that this full moon seems to be like clearing it all out and just surrendering, because these are massively uncertain times. Like, nothing is permanent. And so if we don't just be if we don't allow ourselves to sit in the uncomfortableness of it without escaping through whatever means, which sometimes is needed, but I trust that we all know how to just be by ourselves and in the pain and in the discomfort without needing to escape it. Otherwise, it's going to make life a whole lot more uncomfortable with what is to come. And there'll probably be a lot more spending if you need to self-soothe using substances and various things, rather than just go to the grass and put your feet on the grass and have a good cry. I mean, being mindful of healthy habits right now is important, because there's just so much change, and when we overanalyze and when we question continually, it's almost suggesting a doubt in the greater cosmic intelligence. It's almost suggesting that we don't believe, we don't have a knowing, that we're being led by the higher self, our future selves, like a greater energy, source energy, which we're all tapped into. And it's almost like saying, well, I don't believe that. And when you start to bring that in, then other energies like fear and lack and this and that and guilt and comparison, shame, overindulgence, blah blah blah, all the heavier vibrational energies and entities can linger around. And if we're here to level up, and we're also responsible for ourselves and for other beings and our energy, we're responsible for our energy and energy that we put into the world. I trust that we let this full moon just wash it all away, really, because we are generational curse breakers, and this is no disrespect to the elders. This is just the evolution of our species being able to address certain parts of our spiritual selves and emotional bodies and energetic beings that were either oppressed or not talked about, or practices were not allowed, or people were punished for doing certain things, all relating to the natural world and energy, because that is what we are, and that's what we need for healing, and that's what we need to grow, and that's what we need to be rooting in now for these increasing telepathic times, for these increasingly magical and miraculous times, for these increasingly strange times. And so I'm just at a place where it gets sad to see the questioning of our sacred missions and our sacred journeys, and being sort of influenced by what other people might say about what they've experienced in their lifetime, and projecting that onto us, when their journey, no disrespect, it's not my journey, it's not my story. And I'm at the minute in a space in my own journey, my own womanhood, where I could be involved in a few things or not, and I'm actively not seeking out those spaces, because I've been to one sort of situation, and all it really was about was comparison and self-deprecating talk, and just made me feel quite low. Maybe start to question myself. So immediately when you clock those energies, and it's not a blame thing to these other people, they were a mirror that I clearly needed to see in terms of who and how I need to spend my time, and maybe they'll have a beautiful time together. But for me right now, I'm in a space where certain conversations and certain individuals I can't be around, and we're at all different points of our own journey. And if it doesn't feel healthy, if it doesn't feel aligned, if you've got to force something, then it's time to let it go. If something is not flowing in natural divine order, because there always is a natural order to things, there is a cause and effect. There is something that someone says that will produce a consequence. There is an action, consequence, cause and effect. These are divine laws, and to keep going around in a circle of, oh, why is this happening? Oh, why is this? I'm falling into that victim trap. It's not the time now. It's not the time to forget ourselves when many of us believe in miracles and are seeing it. But they don't come along without real big initiations. Initiation is essentially an invitation to look inward and either look at our heart healing and our deepest traumas that have been buried and things that might be resurfacing for a while, because we're meant to address them for the long haul now, so that we can fully anchor into a higher frequency of beauty. And I don't mean that in a vain way. I mean the beauty of being in awe of creation. And so we are being afforded this opportunity right now to anchor into love, and to know that yes, things don't turn out how we want. And I'm partial to a cry, I'm partial to a woe is me moment, but I'm getting better at the snap out of it, because it doesn't serve me or my purpose. It doesn't encourage me to move forward in an abundance mindset. And I don't believe I or anyone lacks anything. It's just a mirror in how we see ourselves. according to some form of standard that's either been ingrained through some institution or school or, you know, familial unit or this or that. There is no standard. I mean, obviously in terms of we have a self-worth, we know our limitations, we know our boundaries, we know how much energy and effort we can put into something before depleting ourselves and saying, I have to pull back now, because everything I'm saying and explaining is being misunderstood by the mirror. I'm not being seen, or I don't feel I'm being seen. Therefore, why waste our breath, this precious breath? We move in and out of vibrations and can come back together with souls or disconnect from souls, and at a time where people seem to be coming out of the woodworks and various things in my life, it's quite interesting to see how this planetary vibrational shifts are encouraging forgiveness of self, forgiveness of what's been before in our lineage, but we do not need to carry the weight of things that have happened in the past, 1122, without any disrespect for anyone that's like moved through great difficulty or hardship before us and made certain decisions in their life. It's just we are all presented with different choices according to the times we live in, and everything's relative. So we can have love and respect for the ancestors that have come before us, the people that have brought us into this world, the people that have shown and taught us beautiful things, their perspective on life. However, times change, belief systems dissolve sometimes, and especially now, belief systems are, I mean, extreme in some cases, and also some of us are just like, wouldn't be surprised if anything pops right in front of me right now because of where I've been on my journey and what I'm seeing happen and unravel around me. So I trust that the full moon, these waves just calm the nervous system, the water washes and flourishes and allows for flow state, which means we don't know, which means we relax into the whys and the what ifs, because these universal questions, like, I don't know if we ever know anything. I've said this before recently, so it must be coming up in the collective. Just why? What? You know, who knows? So rather than focus on what we don't know and we can't control, isn't it better that we... God, there's so much clearing. Isn't it better that we focus on the things that we might be able to create solutions around, individually, within a union, within a familial unit, within a community, rather than on the things that, like, we can't answer, and driving ourselves into frustration, which is a sign that we've got an imbalance that we need to heal somewhere. And root chakra, you know, I try to sit with my pelvic bone a lot of the time on the actual ground, in terms of really rooting myself into the earth and feeling the trees and the mitochondrial network, like, in my root chakra. Because if we do not balance those instinctive primal themes around, like, identity and safety and, like, our relationship to ourselves and our knowing and our sacred being, like us as the individual, the I am, the Aries, the root, then the rest of the, you know, the energetic system, if we want to use the chakras and stuff, it doesn't end up, it's not, it ends up looking like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, you know. So it's a few gobbledygook moments here and, you know, a bit rabbiting on, but I feel the frustrations of people who talk to me about their frustrations of things they can't answer, and I'm just like, but why you keep asking the same questions? Like, it's not wrong to ask questions, but at some point then we've got to look at our own repeated loops thinking and think, right, it's not getting me anywhere. Like, how can I move differently? Like, what is the solution around this? And if I surrender now, maybe in a week, 2 weeks, whatever, time's irrelevant, it's something's going to pop up and crop up, because that's the reward for like letting go and trusting this magical world. So I trust we're practicing energy and frequency and vibration and really knowing what that means, and finding like the harmonics and the balance within, like humming, singing, dance, rooting, grounding, like bringing them back, because then it takes us out of our mind, like embodiment practices. There's too much mind chatter at the minute, and we need to go easy on ourselves, and we need to go easy on each other. And we need to stop taking on other people's projections and what they think, who they think we are, like what version of ourselves they once knew us in, or what version of themselves they see in us. No, not anymore. We claim a new story, we claim our own story, we claim the legacy, we claim like generational healing, we claim abundance mentality and like positive influence for the next generation. Like, we need to help each other. All right, rabbit over.